I have here a little interesting project. I bought a bunch of computer parts, and they're all from one particular laptop. And they're all here. And all of that, except this thing, cost me 20 euros. Looks like just a bunch of trash, but I think if we look at this and check it out, we can build ourselves a working Lenovo laptop. Now, as you see, I have here two motherboards, and the seller said that he tried to change it, and he was honest, he didn't know how to put it back together, which is fine, you know. He was a younger guy, at least he tried it. And so he said that first of all, he lost the power connector, so I bought one of those for $7 on eBay. It's a power connector with the Lenovo power input here and motherboard input there. And he lost all the screws, which, yeah, is a little bit of a problem, but I have plenty of spare ones, and I think we can piece it back together. And he said that he bought this replacement board. So this is the supposedly working board, and this is the old board, which is supposed to have a problem. And as you see, he made a little mistake there. The CPU fan, CPU cooler is not on here all the way. The fan is missing, but I didn't order the fan yet because I wanted to check out if it actually works first. But it does have a CPU, which is probably a Core i5. It looks here. We got a little bit of RAM. Don't know what that is. Oh, it's a nice 4GB stick. So we get 4GB of RAM, two motherboards, the bottom panel, like to cover everything, the top case, which is in really nice condition. It was sitting quite long in my drawer, so collected a little dust because I bought these parts actually a while back. And last but not least, the screen plus the bottom half. So I think I made a pretty good deal, because considering I paid only 20 bucks, the screen alone is worth more, because if all of this other stuff doesn't work, I at least have a replacement screen, which is a very common screen in a lot of different laptops. But I hope at least like I can piece it back together and get it working and have a running system again. Alright, I plugged it in, hooked everything essential to run the computer up, and it didn't boot, didn't post, didn't do anything. So yeah, this board is dead, as he said. I mean, why would he then buy a replacement board just for fun? I don't think so. So, but we tested it out, and so now we know. Unfortunately, I don't have a fan. I was just thinking of getting a fan out of an old Acer junker laptop I have, like a donor laptop, but the chance that it's the same as this is pretty low. So yeah, what I'll do now is I will not unplug it again and hook everything up with this, including installing the CPU and testing this one out and see if that one works. And if it does, then I'm happy. Then I can move on with it. If this also doesn't work, then yeah, at least I have a nice screen, and maybe this i5 can also be sold. So yeah, let me just do that. Let's check this guy out. Maybe he messed with it also, but it looks good to me. No pins bent, nothing. Alright, it's a freaking snowstorm outside. Incredible. Nevertheless, we can move on with this. Oh yeah, the RAM. And now we removed every part that's useful from this board. Let's get that out of the way and install it in the hopefully now working board. Just quickly go through. We have power button, We have CPU, RAM, CMOS, basically everything monitor that this thing should post if it works. Let's cross fingers if it does. Alright, here goes nothing. Yeah, not a whole lot going on, unfortunately. So guys, all the attempts of trying to get this thing posting failed so far, unfortunately. It also turns out I don't have a single screw which fits this heat sinks. This donor machine here is an AMD, has the little bigger screws, and I've got another one which has smaller screws, so so my plan is now I'll get a fan, and yeah, and I also probably look what a screw kit costs, like on eBay, for one of these, since I'm just missing so many of them, like basically all of them for the chassis, and it would just be a good idea. Just see how much that costs. If not, I mean, these are probably the most important ones, holding the CPU down. Now, why am I doing this? If this would be like a Pentium or even Core i3 or whatever, I would not bother. But since this is a Core i5, and supposedly with dedicated graphics, which is this unit here, just see, it can be a nice machine for somebody. You know, it's almost complete. We got the whole chassis, we got the screen, I've got a hard drive and a optical drive for it. It can be completed if I would have this fan in this motherboard, not motherboard, CPU heatsink screws. So yeah, I will go on eBay, hunt for one of these things. Maybe I can get a used fan or something. Unfortunately, all of mine have different connectors, and also the shape is, well, the shape would, in this case, even, no, it wouldn't work, missing a connector. You know, it's just, chances pretty low that I get one of these in anytime soon, so I'll just order one. Sorry for my Roomba outside, it's making a lot of noise, I know. But I've got here this fan, arrived today in the mail, and I will now plug it in, see if this spins the fan, and so if it then shows a signal, I'll hook it up to my monitor here, and yeah, we'll see. Maybe it will power on, maybe not. I can't really believe it myself, but yes, I paid, I think, 18 bucks, close to 20 bucks for freaking screws. I think I've never paid so much for screws. It hurts, but totaling everything up, it should be worth it. So it's the original screw kit for this, for the whole system. So I bit that bullet, and yeah, hopefully it wasn't a bad decision. I just hope it boots now. Oh man, this is so sad right now. Board number 1 doesn't do anything, unfortunately. Nothing, just, it's not even spinning the fan. That is sad. That is very sad. Maybe it had a reason why he gave it to me for only 20 bucks. I've got here this old board, and I will now try the same thing with the old board, see if that one works. But unfortunately, guys, my hopes aren't really all that high anymore. So I am just really pissed. None of these two boards work. Whether the old one nor the newer one, both just don't show any signs of life, nothing at all. I don't know what this guy did with them, but I really don't know, guys. Now, just because they're actually getting no single power whatsoever, I mean, could it be this one? But I mean, I bought that specifically for this laptop, not even a knockoff part, nothing, just the original part. I bought even the stupid fan and even these stupid screws, so what have I gotten myself into? So the wise decision would be just to call it a day, to say, well, I had bad luck, you know, whatever, right? But me being me, and now that I've already got so much time invested in this stupid thing, and I even ordered the parts, the original screws and the fan and the power connector, I might as well just get another motherboard, because this, at least the CPU is modular, so it can't be that expensive, I guess. So guys, a little Google search told me that I just bought a total piece of crap. Apparently the G500s models have a very common issue, this very issue, where they just won't start. And I even read that some machines came dead straight out of the box. And I've watched the guy fixing it, but there's no way in hell I can pull that off. I just lack expertise. I have no idea how to solder, nothing. So again, as I said, it's such a shame. It could even be fixed easily, but nobody will do it. So I found this. Look at that. I mean, that is just a no-brainer right there on AliExpress. 28 euros and 8 cents for the freaking motherboard. And it is even tested. Well, at least it says it's tested. Who knows if it really is, but I can say from experience, I've ordered plenty of boards on AliExpress, and when they come, because it usually takes quite a time, they always worked. And yeah, this is my motherboard. Apparently it's even i7 supported, so you could swap in an i7 there. But I will not do that. Will not go totally crazy. But yeah, I mean 28.08, 50% off, 52% off. I mean, I have to take that gamble once again. I mean, why gamble? They even guarantee it's tested 100% working, and I can send it back. Yes, I'm losing tons of time, but see, I will take this gamble again, and just don't be like me. Just buy a proper laptop that is in one piece, and if it's wrong, you hopefully know what's wrong. Not like me doing a complete guessing game. And yeah, but this is the way we do things here. It is my personal machine. I mean, I would be so ashamed if this would be a customer machine, telling him, "Oh yeah, it still doesn't work. Yeah, it wasn't the fan." That would be so bad for me. But this is my own machine. I mean, I learn from stuff like this, and yeah, what's $28? You know, and $20 for the screws. I mean, that hurts. But yeah, I was so stupid and bought them. Anyway, I'll buy this board, and yeah, we'll see if that one works. And if this doesn't work, then it's probably the power button. I don't know, then I'll give up. Alright guys, it's the 16th of May, and the last clip was filmed 2 months ago. And if it wouldn't be laying here all the time on this shelf, I probably would have forgotten about that machine by now. But hey, when finally the motherboard arrived for it, finally, I thought of it again, because it's kind of burned into my eyes as all these parts laying there. I wouldn't even notice them anymore. But hey, here it is. Finally, after all this time, I have a motherboard for this computer. The G500s, my third G500s motherboard, which will hopefully not be that too. But hey, let's get all of this stuff. Look at all of this. This looks like a do-it-yourself kind of kit. Build your own laptop kit. I'd love to buy something like that, seriously. So what I will do is I will, before I put any of this back together to one single laptop, which will be fun, I will test out the board. I'll get a little test setup going. I'll put in the CPU, attach the fan and the heat pipe and the power button, and connect it to the monitor, and see if it posts. And if it does, you're good to go. If it does not, then I'm really annoyed. But hey, It was really nicely packaged, and they guaranteed it works. 100% tested. They even sent me a photo of it. So I'm really very, very positive that this is gonna work. So let me get the test setup going, and then we'll press the power button and hope that it works. Well, guys, do you see something wrong in this picture? I'm sure you do. Check out where this heat pipe goes. Like into nothing. Alright? Yeah, that's because this board does not have the integrated NVIDIA graphics. Fuck. Here is one of the boards I had. And as you see there's a graphics card. And here's the CPU. And here's where the heat pipe spread onto. And also the board is a little thicker on that side. That one though, not the case. So I have two concerns. First of all, will it even fit into the case? That's the minor concern. But the bigger concern is, if it works, which I think it does, how do I get rid of this? How do I make a heat pipe delete? Because if there's one thing for sure, then it's that I'm not gonna buy another stupid like heat pipe just because of that. But this needs to go. It hits this capacitor, so fuck me. This is... Why does it always have to be such a mess? I was pretty sure it had this curve. Whatever, we have to deal with my stupidity now. And I will just try and boot that guy up. And if it doesn't post now, I'll connect the CMOS. Maybe that helps. I'll just get my power supply out and adapter to HDMI and see if it posts. Oh, this camera is always so slow in starting, but as you see, it works! Look at that! Fan spin. I'm holding down literally on the CPU heatsink to not let it cook the CPU. But anyway, guys, it works. Hooray! Hooray! So, yes, I have a working board. That is something awesome for once. It finally works. For once, finally something works. Now, of course, I could now be a super happy person and piece this back together in a perfectly fashion, but of course, there's something that hinders me on being the professional guy. That right there. I just have no clue how I should adapt that in there. So guys, update. I did some test fitting and it drops in just perfectly. So we'll have no problems with the fitment of the motherboard, which is very good. Also, I put in the card reader. I don't know why the guy put it out. I mean, it served no real purpose, to be honest. But he did it, and I will, of course, put it back in and screw it down. And there are on the underside, thankfully, not a lot of cables to be connected. Only this one and the video cable, which I already hooked up. But the rest is all on top, laid out nicely, so I can, after I'm done with this one, drop it in and leave it there and actually screw it in. But I'll hold off since I don't know where or how I need to maybe rearrange some cables. Because, for example, the charging cable goes here, and I need to find a way to route it to make the cable sit flat. But that's like some fine-tuning stuff. I'm still kind of nervous about the CPU fan stuff, but that won't let me, that won't stop me from finishing this today, I swear to you. Alright guys, we're making good progress here. I screwed in the motherboard and hooked up all the cables. Turns out they're all on this side, so no need to fiddle around under the motherboard, which is very good. But I ran into one issue, which hopefully can be fixed, and that is that here is the video connector for the monitor, and the original board had the video connector a little further because here was the chip, the NVIDIA chip. This one doesn't have the NVIDIA chip, so the connector is further on the right, and I got a feeling that it's just not gonna reach it. Because as you see there, it's like a centimeter. But yeah, so I'm thinking of either tearing down the monitor, that's what I'll probably do, or at least the bezel only, and try to extend it. Maybe it's still some cable like in there in the monitor housing. Hopefully, I don't think it is, but hopefully, then I can maybe extend it this one stupid centimeter and hook it up to the connector. Everything will be fine. Or number two, I have maybe a donor machine, which has the same style video connector cable. So, of course, no guarantee that it's the same on the other side. So, oh boy, you know, always these little things. However, our issue with the cooling pipes seem to have solved themselves. That's a welcome change for once, because when you force that in there, the second heat sink, the heat pipe here and the heat sink, clear the capacitor, thankfully. When I had it laid out on the table, it wouldn't, but now that it's properly in the case and all that, it clears it, so we don't have to delete that, it can stay. But the problem is, I need to get the cable issue resolved, because if I screw that down, there's no way I can get to that cable connector anymore, which sucks. So I have to find a solution for that right now. But yeah, I also made some other progress, and I'm quite enjoying this, guys. I'm really doing that. Much more than that stupid MacBook that I had, where I swapped in a board which wasn't meant to go in there. I put in the power button again, so that assembly is completely done. Just needs a clean and then it will be good. But of course that will be our last step here. RAM is already in. Here is our wireless card, then can go in next. Hard drive, I'll wait with that for the end. Hopefully it doesn't need some sort of caddy. Oh, it probably does. I was actually being smart this time. I was looking at the connector and I thought it is this one, but I couldn't make it out on a small photo here. So I pulled out the old dead board, and here it is, next to the battery connector. So the battery connector is next to the battery connector. And here we go. There is the little dude. I connected that, and this round like circle here is for sure where it hides in, like where it sits in. So yeah, well, it was a good idea to screw it out again. I thought it's better now than when it's all back together, and it's way more hassle then. So I did it now, and now I think we can finally, for the last time, put it in there. And yeah, hope that I didn't forget anything. Haha, already said that now 3 times, or did I? Guys, I did it! Yeah. I just know that this is no proper solution. Just not at all. I mean, you can try and do everything what you want, but it's just too short. Just a little tiny bit. Because I think with some mods you can maybe route it through there, and it won't disturb anything, because here's just this, you know, the heatsink and nothing there. But the problem we'll face is here, because this tiny little like missing length is here, creating this point where it rubs against the casing, and when the bezel is on, this is all, you know, like this, and so it creates this stupid strain, and this is no long-term solution. Now, I was talking about the donor laptop and the video cable from that one, but unfortunately that's not gonna work out, because this laptop has a webcam, and the cable for the webcam routes here, and that is included into this video connector. So they connect the webcam and monitor with one cable. Also, still have to figure out how that goes in there. I have no idea about that. Still a lot to do, but I will now close it up because I need to go. I'm drinking my first coffee outside of quarantine for the first time ever, so that's a huge milestone in my life. So I better not be late. And would you look at that? Now we are not completely done yet, and I still have no idea how I will figure that out with the cable other than buying a longer one. But as you see, we have a working computer. Oh my god, that is great. It's an Ideapad G500s. It's not detecting hard disk because it's not in there. Windows 8 license, Core i5 3rd Gen Ivy Bridge. And looks to me that, yeah, we have a working computer. I will just try to set that to UEFI and make it only UEFI. It's quite an older machine than I first thought, 2011. But yeah, it's coming together. Screen is also good. So I am looking forward to installing Windows. I'm currently in the process of making a boot disk because I lent mine that I always had to a friend, and he hasn't given it back to me. And yeah, but looking very good. So I will just try to install that, and if everything goes well, I'll be back. Alright folks, we're making great progress here. I installed Windows 10, all fine, up and running. I was shocked to see that Lenovo doesn't officially support this on Windows 10 anymore. I mean, come on, seriously? I was kind of disappointed by that, but I guess it's just, this isn't making them a lot of money. It's, you know, the entry-level Ideapad thing, so they didn't bother, but thankfully it doesn't matter. All the drivers are installed, everything works, so that's very nice. And as you can see, we're rocking here the 3rd Gen i5, which is still a reasonably fast chip. No need to make this any faster. You could even put in an i7, which is very, very cool. Now we are not done here. Sounds like we're done here, but no. Actually, look at that, for example. This is some sketchy thing we got going on. As said, the cable is just not long enough, and that is because we downgraded this from a G500s to a G500. The S, I don't know what it stands for, but the graphics card, the GeForce, was in the S models, and the without the S doesn't have a dedicated GPU, and there the cable is a bit longer. So what did I do? I of course bought a cable. It's something I kind of had to do because the way it looks like right now, first of all, I can't put the bezel back on. It's just not gonna work. Secondly, I can't close it because I fear it's just gonna destroy the cable instantly when I do that. And I kind of screwed it together with a test fit, and everything works except here where the cable meets. It's squished in there, and it's not a good solution, so no way around it. I need to buy that cable, which cost $5.55, which is really not that expensive, but hey, I guess the more money you throw at it, the more it just completes the computer. But the problem is we're getting dangerously close to the value of this thing, which I already spent now $93.55 on this computer, and this is not really a lot more worth than like $100. At least that's what I would pay for it. And yeah, what can I say? I mean, my profit margin is just shrinking and shrinking. But hey, what could I do? I just, these screws. Why did I buy those? Sure, I now have all the K screws properly installed. It looks very clean. Still don't have an optical drive. Probably not gonna find one. But these screws, man, why did I buy those for so freaking expensive? And the worst thing of all of them is, I mostly bought these screws for those screws. The CPU heatsink screws, the problem is they don't fit. I don't know, guys, they don't fit. So I went ahead and installed some of my own, which worked. No problem, but yeah. Kind of annoying. Anyhow, I put the hard drive in it I got with it, and it's in nice condition. Sure, it's nothing special, but it's been used around 9,100, yeah, around 9,200 hours, which is reasonable for a 2012 hard drive. You know, it works fine, no errors, so that'll be it. Trackpad works, keyboard, everything works, so at least we have a functional, nice computer in the end. So it's a week later, it's been sitting this way, slaughtered here on my desk, and today the mailman brought me the part, and would you look at that? Would you look at that? That's the new part, that's the original one. Yes, this is gonna work. It is even the right connector. It is longer as I thought from the photo, so don't do it the way I did it, just judging from the photo, but I had luck. This was longer. It's actually quite a bit longer. You don't believe how happy I am to finally rebuild that into a working laptop, which is not ghetto, just slapped together somehow. It's gonna be perfect. You know how I feel? No, being serious here for a moment. I thought for once again that I probably ordered the wrong cable. Unfortunately, they are not taking that one back, so that one is just wasted money. However, this one is gonna work, and so I can finally piece this back together to a working laptop. I even thought about getting a battery for it, but I'm not gonna. It's just not worth it. I invested so much of my money anyway on such a stupid, what is it again? Ideapad? It is an Ideapad, right? I'm happy if I break even, to be honest with you, but anyhow, let's rebuild it and then finally make it work and clean it up nicely and get rid of it. So, what I'll do is, my plan is to once again undo this cable. I didn't screw anything in because I just wanted to avoid having triple the work, which I already have. But the problem with a method like this is you just don't remember all that much if you don't document it. So I have to kind of guess. I think those are the monitor screws. These are all for casing, probably. Oh, damn it. So yeah, I mean, if you're too lazy like me, you just have to look when you piece it back together longer. And as you see, it is definitely quite a bit longer. When you lay them out side by side, this one's definitely longer. So that will have no issue getting to the connector here, which was our only thing holding us back. God damn it. Finally I can do it. So let me get it done. Alright folks, monitor is in. New cable is routed, which is annoying, but I figured out a little make it easy hack, and that is just flip it on the side, and then you can easily just lay it down. But if you do it in this orientation, which I did before, it would just always fall out. So it makes it way easier if you just lay it on the side. Also, I connected up the GPU connector for once and for all, and as you can see, easy enough length. So no problem anymore. I actually have now probably more problems tucking it away because there's so much cable, but that's something we can take care of for sure. Monitor is also screwed back in. I figured something out that I probably have to route this instead of I always did it on top of this hinge thing. I probably have to route it underneath there, sort of something like here. Also have to find a solution to mount that hard drive in here, because obviously I don't have a caddy or something that I can put it in. So, oh my god, still a little bit of ghetto-ness left, but hey, we're getting there. Alright, update. The machine is all back together. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. Let's just look at the not so ghetto stuff. It looks perfect from the top. Yeah, it's a little worn out, but apart from that, the keyboard looks good. Still need to put on the bezel, of course. I'll do that last. But also, I'm happy to report that the screws all fit and the casing goes together nicely, as you see. Except here, a little flex, but I think that's gonna be fixed once I put the bezel on. And if you're asking what the hell this is, yeah, I know this is absolutely 100% how you do it. I just had to make sure that the hard drive doesn't flap around, because first of all, it's not good for the hard drive. Second, I don't want to mess up this connector in any way. So, instead of buying a whole nother caddy, I decided to go the ghetto route and just screw this Amazon gift card thing in here. That's gonna hold it down really, really good. And of course, the cover goes on it too, so it's pressing down even further on it then. So that hard drive is not gonna go anywhere. Also, like the chance that it's gonna slide and like unplug is so low. Like I'm just not gonna bother about that. So yeah, that is all in. If you're into computers, you're gonna spot immediately how ghetto this thing really is. First of all, the only reason why I ordered all of these stupid screws was to get one of these. But as it turns out, these are also the wrong type. So totally wasted, except maybe the case screws. Those were pretty useful. So I found those two, and those work great too. It's not ideal, but hey, just not gonna bother. Fan screwed in nicely. This is ghetto too, because this was once the NVIDIA model, but now there's just nothing under it. And this also, unfortunately, touches the GPU cable, so once this is on, there's quite a lot of stress created. But yeah, just the way it is. Of course, as I said, I could just cut it off here, but maybe somebody wants to use that at some point, so it would be kind of shame to destroy that. Still missing the keyboard screws, but yeah, it is getting there, guys. It is really getting there. Wow, look at that. Yes, it still boots up. Holy shit. And I really have to say, while it is not the best quality laptop, you know, it's full of cheap plastic, it is very forgiving. Like, you don't believe how I messed with this, how many times I took it apart, and these clips, they still work. Like, none of them snapped here. Couldn't say that for tons of, like, the white MacBooks. And you know, how this has been treated, I think it deserves to be said that it isn't maybe such a bad quality laptop after all as a first thought, but still, the internal construction is pretty cheap. Anyway, it all doesn't matter. It still boots up. We got it from a pile of parts to a working laptop. That's what I wanted to do, I don't know, in April? Maybe? I don't remember. Maybe it was even in February when I bought all these parts. All I know is that it all took very, very long. For once, because of the shipping from AliExpress, that got delayed a lot. Second, that I just had to buy new parts all the time because I figured out stuff was missing. Let's see what else was the problem. Yeah, the wrong part, the wrong cable. It was all basically not worth it. I don't like recommend doing this. However, now that I have here a finished laptop that works and boots, I you know, for me, I kind of enjoyed it. It was a cool project. I'd do it again, just maybe with a little more parts, because I had to buy, let's just recap, I had to buy the fan, the power cable plug-in thing here, then the motherboard, the LVDS cable, twice, unfortunately. Did I forget anything? The screws, which really weren't necessary, but at least I have the case screws now, all the correct ones. Yeah, I mean, apart from that, everything was ready to go. It just needed parts. Thankfully, now it's working. I'm very happy that the trackpad works, that the keyboard works, webcam works. And what I'll do now is I'll test out every single port, every function of it, and then I'll report a final update here if everything works. And yeah, we'll clean it up nicely, and yeah, that will be the end then. So look at that, we finally got it done. Oh yeah, fun fact, I stuck in here a Mac slot loading optical drive. Does it still work? Oh, I don't know. Let's test it out. Not really. Maybe that's why I took it out. Oh my god, that sounds awful. And here's our finished product. Looking pretty good. I decided not to put in a DVD drive for now because, yeah, if somebody really needs that, he can buy it for really cheap and put it in there. And yeah, here it is. Working 100% keyboard, all keys work, trackpad works great, sleep wake works, camera works, all the ports work. Fully functional laptop. The only thing it's missing is a battery, but I'll just sell it as is. So there it is, guys, a fully rebuilt G500s. Totally not worth it, but it was fun, and I did learn quite a lot, so that's what it's all about. I like to tinker with stuff. I, fix boring computer problems every day, but stuff like this is actually exciting to me. So yeah, maybe give it a little final better clean, because it's still covered in fingerprints and little scratches, but for the most part, there it is. So, that is it. I never thought I'd finally finish this video, oh my god. But here it is, finished Ideapad. Hope you enjoyed this journey, and yeah, stay tuned for the next project. Whatever it might be, I think you'll like it.